Hello, Chip GT here, and in this video we are going to talk about mounting my new PC into my pinball machine, and we're going to talk about some airflow. So without any further delay, let's coin in and push that start button. First, I need to say a very big thank you to all of you who have watched my videos. The Vpin Wizardry channel has reached the milestone of 300 subscribers with over 1,500 watch hours. To celebrate that, Pinball Life has very generously given all of you a promo code of promo10 to use at checkout for 10% off of your next purchase. Pinball Life is home to just about any pinball machine part you can think of for real pinball machines, and it has been a true resource for those of us in the build your own cabinet and virtual pinball community. And they have all kinds of parts and things that you might need for a virtual pinball machine, from glass to plumb bobs and shaker motors and almost everything that I have installed on my back box. This is where I normally go for all of my virtual pinball needs for quality parts at lower prices. And this code is good until 21 September 2023. So be sure to use promo code 10 at checkout for your next purchase. And thank you for watching, subscribing, and sharing these videos with your friends. Pardon the mess behind me here. I've already started working on the next video, in the process of finishing up this one. And I just wanted to go over real quick the plan for the airflow and the mounting of the PC in here. So I've updated my cabinet file here for Fusion 360, and you can see that this square box in here, that's the power spec PC. And what I was talking about in a previous video, maybe you can kind of see here, I was trying to get the power spec PC to fit in here without me having to really redesign anything, and the solenoids here in the middle and the back would not allow me, with where they were currently at, to fit the power spec PC. And then I realized, with how close they are to the slide for the TV to come in and out of the cabinet, that there is no way I can move them up too far that would make the clearance. So I would have to drastically rework this to maybe put all the right solenoids on the right side of the cabinet and all the left solenoids on the left side of the cabinet. And so I thought long and hard about it. I talked to my wife about it, and I said, you know, there's a lot of cooling issues that I still have to address, and it might be easier to go a different route. So what I ended up doing is I modeled out what it would look like if I went with the Meshroom case. So get ready for this. So here's the power spec PC case, Meshroom case, power spec, Meshroom. Okay, let's go to the other side. Okay, power spec, Meshroom. The Meshroom case drastically reduces the size of the PC by almost 30%. It's just a little bit bigger than an Xbox Series S in height-wise, and the case itself is actually really nice because it allows airflow to come in from almost every direction, and you can configure it in a whole bunch of different ways. So with that, I went ahead and I bought the case. I already had the power supply, the water cooler, the CPU chip, the GPU, which is on the other side right there. So all I needed was the case, and this case can actually support a full ATX motherboard, but with the water cooler I had and this GPU, it wants you to configure it so that the GPU is kind of in this spot and the water cooler is in this spot. And the water cooler I had has linkages that are at a angle, like a 45-degree angle, and what it needed to be was like either a straight shot that way or a straight shot that way. And that way it comes up over the top here. So it would come up over the top and into the water cooler there. And because of the GPU and how it is, and the water cooler, I couldn't get both of them to fit on this. I couldn't get them both to fit on that side. So I ended up getting an ITX motherboard right here. And I got that for $70 at Micro Center. And I already had 2 SSDs, and I was able to put one here, and then there's one on the back side. So most of these ITXs, they have a second M.2 slot on the back side, and then this motherboard also has Wi-Fi and all the good essentials. So I was able to make everything work for an extra $100 and some change dollars. And I know some people out there are going to be like, well, you know, if you had built it, it would have been cheaper. Well, not really, because the CPU and the GPU are still valued at over $600, and then this case was like $150, and then that was $70. So it was about the same price as doing a custom job. And I also took the 32 gigs of RAM and moved those over here. So this truly is still a good budget build, and it's 30% smaller in every way compared to the other PC. Now real quick, I want to mention that I have some wires here hanging out the back side of the computer, and I have one out the bottom side here. And the reason for this is I actually have a fan distribution board. This wire right here is a data link, and hooking this end up to the fan controller allows the CPU to monitor the temperatures, and if it gets above a certain threshold, it'll increase the fan speed in the entire pinball machine cabinet to help cool it faster. So that is kind of an essential component to keeping the computer cool. And then I have an extra power array here to help power some lighting and the fans themselves. This will be for the power switch, so that I can have a power switch closer to the coin door. And then this is to control the lights that are inside this PC build. And then this will go to some other cabinet fans to provide power to some other fans that I have in the back box. So that's why all those wires are hanging out. What's nice about this is if you look here, I ended up modeling this to have a big hole in the bottom of the cabinet. This whole face of the Meshroom case is where the GPU sits. So the GPU sits like right here, and it has 2 to 3 fans that pull air into the case and push it out to the side on the side. And then the water cooler I put on the back side here, and it'll blow air out the back here. And with the water cooler blowing air out the back, it sucks in air from every other direction. And then there is the fan for the power supply, and that sucks air in and then pushes it out as well. So what does that look like? So I ended up modeling the fans in here as well, and here is the airflow. And when you're looking at a PC, especially one like this for airflow, you want to have neutral pressure, which means for every fan sucking in, you have a fan blowing out, or you want to have positive pressure, which means that you have more fans sucking in than pushing out. And with this case, I configured it in a way so that I have a slight positive pressure on the case. And with these fans here for the radiator, it's going to suck in air from every direction because this is a full mesh all the way around the case. And then that hot air will be blown out the back right here. I'm thinking about mounting these to a new door that is mounted there. And then because heat rises, and I know that that doesn't really affect the airflow of a PC, just in case, I have a fan that will push up through the back box to cool off those components and actually help draw out some of the hot air that might be in here. And I decided, okay, well, we needed to have 2 more fans probably up here in the front. I decided to move the subwoofer that was in the front kind of back here. So let me get that on real quick. Right there. So we'll have the main subwoofer for the audio callouts, and then the subwoofer for the SSF kind of right next to each other. and then that freed up that hole in the front, and we'll make another hole here for airflow to come in, and that way the air can come in and it'll flow out the back just like this. And that puts a neutral pressure on the actual pinball. Actually, it puts a little bit of a negative pressure on here because I have a fan blowing up here and then 2 fans blowing here. But the other thing to think about is how much space this is taking in, and there's actually 4 fans on the bottom of the pinball machine sucking in, 3 fans blowing out, which puts a little bit more positive pressure on the case, and then you have 1 more fan on the top here sucking in and blowing out. Well, it sucks air in and then it ventilates out the back for the power supply, and that keeps positive pressure on this. It keeps positive pressure all the way around the case. And then because we have this glass, I ran a quick experiment to see how that would affect the heat on the TV. And the TV that's here, the main monitor for my playfield, it does output heat, and with the glass on, it gets warm. So what I decided to do is get 2 smaller fans, and I'm gonna drill holes all the way through here, through the lighting board, and then I created these spacers for a piece of dark acrylic, and that is going to kind of hide the matrix there, and it gives enough room so that airflow can be sucked in here and out the back, and that way airflow is getting sucked up and around and through here, and it's just pulling that hot air away from this monitor so that it doesn't get too hot under the glass. So I think that this is an overall good plan for airflow. If I need to, I'm going to redo these fans to put a 3rd fan right here just in case it's needed, but I doubt that it will, and we'll see how the airflow works when this is all said and done. But that's the plan for doing the PC. And that wraps up this video. In the next video, we're going to actually be making the cuts so that we can get the PC mounted into the cabinet. I've already kind of taken it all apart. I'm only removing the key components like the main playfield and then the back row of solenoids so that I can actually get to the back of the cabinet there and make the cuts without taking the entire cabinet apart. If you learned something, please give me a like, please subscribe, share this video with your friends. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.